All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about the midpoint formula. In class, we are going to be using the midpoint formula in conjunction with the distance formula, and we will get to using that and graphing with the distance formula and midpoint formula towards the end of day 1 and day 2 of 1.1 and 1.2. So this video is to help refresh you on the midpoint formula and why it works. You need to watch the next video in order to be refreshed on the distance formula and why the distance formula works as well in order to be prepared for class. So let's take two endpoints of segment AB. Point A is 4, 1. You can see right here I have point A, and point B is 10, 5. I have also labeled our points x1, x and y1, x2 and y2, and we're going to use our midpoint formula in order to find the midpoint of our line segment. Now remember that our midpoint formula is taking the average of our two coordinates. So in our first part of our midpoint formula, it's taking our two x coordinates, x1 and x2, and taking the average of it. So it's adding them together and dividing it by 2 to find where the midpoint of our x coordinates are. And we're doing the same with our y coordinates. We're taking y1 and y2 and averaging it by adding them together and dividing by 2. So let's go ahead and see how we can implement this using point A and point B. So our first step here is just inputting our first coordinate, point A. So you see here that we put x1 in, which was 4, and we put y1 in, which was 1. And our second step was to then put in our second point, point B. We put in 10 for x2 and 5 for y2, and we put it into our midpoint formula. And now from here it's going ahead and completing our arithmetic for it. So we add our two coordinates together, x1 and x2 together, and our y1 and y2 together to get 14 and 6, because we added 4 plus 10 together and 1 plus 5 together to get 14 and 6. Then when we find that midpoint, we have to divide it by 2 because this is how we average. And we get our answer to be 7, 3. And that is how we find our midpoint of our 2 points. And that is why the midpoint works. If you would like to go a little bit deeper with some more visuals on using the midpoint formula on a graph, check out the next video after distance formula.